in most instances, I think we could all agree that that's probably going to be somewhere in the realm of, let's just say 15 minutes, right? From the time somebody detects an issue to the time it totally gets resolved, ticket gets closed. I think it's a real number to work from, roughly 15 minutes, okay? Now, if we also work from a point of dollars and cents, if you were to Google search or use ChatGPT, AI, something to determine what the cost of a entry level tier one IT AV support tech is, let's say we come out in the ballpark of $50,000 to $60,000 a year, and then you do a full-time employee and FTE assessment on that employee, and they're going to come out probably costing that company somewhere between $80,000 to $90,000 a year, right? So if you break all of that math down, and these are all they're not overly conservative, but they're also not overly aggressive numbers. This is pretty research data, right? And so if we take that and you take all those numbers and you really boil it down, that's going to give you a number of about $40 an hour for an FTE assessment for a tier one tech, right? And so if that problem took us 15 minutes to solve, and that FTE's assessment comes out to be, $40 an hour, that's $10 to solve that one problem effectively, right? So now one of our customers actually had a similar but different problem. They had a problem they encountered where they had very simple rooms similar to this. They were I won't go into too much detail about what vendor's products it was, but they had an all-in-one Android-based MTR system running in Android MTR mode. They had a display in the room very similar to the example that I gave you. Their issue was that they weren't using Utelligy for any type of in-room control. They were letting the Android-based MTR do that work. So somebody walks in, touch panel detects occupancy, it wakes up the display. They were having issues where occasionally the display wouldn't come on. But Utelligy was monitoring both devices, and we created a basic self-heal where we said, okay, if we detect that the MTR system's in a call, but the display isn't on, let's turn it on instantly. And they found through using Utelligy that we were self-healing that scenario about 7 to 8% of the time. And I'll go with the conservative number here of 7%, right? So this particular customer had roughly around 800 rooms in their environment, in their estate. And if I use a hyper conservative number, let's just say that each one of those rooms, because I'll account for a scenario where some rooms maybe had 6 or 8 meetings a day and other rooms had 0. So if we just say that they had 2 meetings per day and 800 rooms, so if we take the 800 times 2, it's going to give us 1,600, right? And then if we assume that there's 20 working days in a month, right? 4 weeks in a month, 5 days in a week. So just take that 1,600 times 20, right? So you got 32,000, right? This is my bad math on my calculator here. You got 32,000 meetings taking place in a month using, again, what I deem to be pretty conservative numbers. And so if their displays weren't turning on 7% of the time across 32,000 meetings a month, if I take the 32,000 times 0.07, okay, that gives me a total number of 2,240. Yep, 2,240 right there. So if you multiply that times the $10 that we just talked about, which again, I think is a pretty conservative number, that works out to $22,400 a month, right? Through that one scenario. So if we've taken into account nothing else that Utelligy is doing in their environment, right? One self-heal in an 800 room estate, which might be large for some people and small, very small for a lot of other customers, that pays for itself very, very quickly in a lot of different scenarios, forgetting all of the other value and the time savings and the cost savings that the platform is giving you.